the more money I made, the quicker that my bank account decreased, because I was like, oh shit, I'm making money now.
Yeah.
Like, I got $400.
myself.
Let me treat myself. I go to Chipotle, get that guac on there. I don't care. Especially for introverts, it's important that you recognize the people that you want to reach out to that will give you energy rather than take away. And there's sort of blanket questions or like statements that I could say that'll be relevant no matter what they say. I'd be like, damn, sounds like you had a crazy career. Everyone goes, tell me about it.
Hi, I'm Sean.
And I'm Kevin.
And welcome to another episode of This Is Not a Phase. Today, we have the one and only Jerry Lee, co-founder and COO of Wonsulting, where his mission over there is to turn underdogs into winners, and specifically helping those who come from a non-target school or non-traditional background into their dream careers.
That's right.
Right? And my understanding is that you've been at this for quite some time now, at least hearing from Kevin about how you guys first met.
Just a little bit.
You want to tell the folks a little bit? Actually, I think, Kevin, you should set the stage.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't meet, but like I heard about you because I used to moderate this group called Subtle Asian Networking.
Subtle Asian
on
Networking,
Facebook.
that's right, yeah.
And we, this is during the time when Subtle Asian Trains was like huge, right? So like there were like millions of members on that, and so we were like the offshoot group, not so big, but like pretty sizable group.
Yeah.
And then we would just see all these post requests come in, and one day we started to see this guy Jerry Lee start posting. Oh, it's pretty good content, like resume tips, interviewing tips. Like, okay, it's pretty good. But then this guy would post all the fucking time, and then all the monitors were like, "Yo, what do we do about these guys? They're just posting way too much. Like, this is way too much."
Does everybody know who this is?
That's right. Hey, and one thing we used to do, we used to put our LinkedIn profiles at the bottom of like our posts and stuff. Nobody else did that. You're not supposed to do self-promo. We're like, all right, let's skirt this line a little bit.
And we were just like, but it's like good content, there's value. So yeah. So that's how I first learned about this guy.
That's right.
Jerry Lee.
That's right.
So how long have you been doing this then?
So Wonsulting, we've been doing for about 5 years now, I want to say. And it primarily just started with, for me and my co-founder, Jonathan, we would just do workshops at schools. So we would go to schools. They'd be like, hey, we'd love to have you guys do a workshop. And we're like, all right. Did our first one at UC Berkeley, posted about it on LinkedIn. 3 schools reached out. Every single time we did one of those, a LinkedIn post, 3 more schools. In our first year, we did about 200 or 250.
Wait, like when you guys first started?
First started.
Oh, fuck.
So this is not when we were like a business or anything. This was just us just doing it because we genuinely loved it. So we would do 3, 5, 6, sometimes even 7 a week.
Damn.
Yeah.
And then naturally started shit posting on Subtle Asian Network and got on his radar.
There was also a period of time I feel like when you had I feel like you had your calendar open for people to book.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
there was
that's
like a
right.
period of time.
That's
I can't
right.
remember, maybe it was during COVID. I think I can't remember.
Yeah. It was probably, I started doing it before COVID and before Subtle Asian Networking was a thing on LinkedIn.
Damn.
And
So you've been
then-
doing it for a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I would open up my Sundays for like 2 hours, and then it got booked up in like
Open-
20 minutes.
Open for service.
I was like, all right, you just want to chat? Let's chat. And then,
That scares the hell out of me. I'm like, oh my god, just book my time away. Like, oh god.
yeah, it was, I mean, I had a lot more time. I liked my son, and it was weird because around that time I loved doing work on Saturdays and Sundays for Wonsulting because that's when I was still at Google. And so that to me was like, oh man, this is like my side hobbies, my
Right.
hustles, my passion. So
Right.
it didn't feel like work at the time,
You were living for the weekend for a different reason.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
And because I remember I hated the work days where I start at 9 or 7, and then I'd finish up work at 7 or 8, and then I'd hop on calls with Jonathan or clients that we were working with, or we do workshops until 10, and we're like, fuck, like I'm tired.
How did your manager, react to all your LinkedIn posts
Dude,
about this?
man.
You know what I mean? Like, how did you manage that?
Dude, it was so weird because I remember the first time I got some level of traction. My director would I was about to present something. I walked into a room and my director was like, "Oh, here's this LinkedIn superstar." I'm like, "Oh my, this fucking guy, lol, you fucking bitch." No, I'm just kidding.
You're watching this?
Yeah, you lol. No, I'm just kidding. Lol's, yeah, he's a great guy. But yeah, I think eventually people were like, "Oh, hey, haha, like, what is this thing that you're doing?" And then eventually, a lot of those same people started reaching out to us. Me being like, "Hey, so like, how can I get started on LinkedIn?" So it's funny. It was a very 180 moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
All before on Facebook, I guess.
This was on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
and then I started posting on
Right.
Facebook, and then only about 2 years ago we started posting on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we have, for every guest that comes on here, we ask a little question, which is, Jerry, what are you here to prove to us today?
That luck is not a phase.
Yeah. Creating your own luck.
Creating your own
And
luck.
making your own luck.
That's right.
Okay.
That's what it
well,
is.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Let's cheers to that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. On that note, officially transition to the next segment.
Jesus Christ.
So, I'm going to wait until this audio stops.
One part is you need to make sure that you have contact with every single little
Yeah.
silver part.
And then how does it like buzz me?
Oh, you'll feel it.
I'm surprised.
You'll feel it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Hey, but I know, right?
That's right. That's right.
Find out. Stay tuned.
That's right. We'll see.
Episode
We'll
two.
see. We'll see.
3 seconds later. So this is our segment called Tell Us How You Really Feel. A shocking reminder to our guests that honesty is the best policy here.
I like it.
So we're going to be asking you a bunch of polarizing questions, but it's not too spicy, at least not yet. We're just getting started here.
I like it.
If you lie, you'll get shocked, and that means you get shocked.
Okay.
You tell the truth.
Good.
You tell the truth, and you're being honest. Kevin and I will have to take a drink.
Okay.
Or two. How's
All
that
right.
sound?
All right. As soon as we switch tequila, then I'm in, baby.
Oh, okay. All right. So get your hand in there.
Shit.
So
Am I gonna get shocked? Am I gonna get shocked?
Well, not if you're being
Ah,
honest.
f- I had naturally have sweaty ass hands.
Don't worry about it. So, okay, this is how we
It's
go.
gonna be a superconductor.
Oh fuck.
So I'll ask you a question.
Okay. We gotta track the Aura Ring stats later too. Afterwards.
Oh yeah, my.
I'll ask you a question, and then I'll press the start button, and you got
start what?
Here's right here. So there's a timer. There's like a 5-10 second timer. You got to answer before that ends. Okay?
But then how are you gonna control the shocking then? How does this
No,
work?
you
Based
control
on
the
your
shocking.
honesty.
How do I control
It's a lie detector.
Oh my god.
It's a lie
This is some
detector.
shit you buy on Wish.com.
Probably.
All right, here we go. Let's
All right, ready? The first one. We'll go easy. We'll
Fuck.
go easy. Which is the superior KBBQ experience?
Jen.
Pork or beef?
Pork.
Pork.
Yo, what the is this?
Oh.
Oh no,
Wait,
we
what
have the
is that?
vibrate mode.
Yo, I didn't even lie. I didn't even lie. Yo, fuck this shit.
Let's just try it again.
All right, hold on. Okay, that's charging.
Charging. Okay.
So you're good.
It's not
You're good.
charging. Okay.
All right, but
It's making the same noises. I
Yeah.
don't know. All right.
yeah, samgyeopsal.
Okay. Samgyeopsal.
We'll try it.
Of course.
True Korean over here.
That's right. That's what it is,
True
baby.
Korean. Okay, so we'll do another one. Let's see, if you can go back in time and start your career at another FAANG company or any choice of your FAANG company,
That's
you would
right.
start at Google in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like the people I met at Google, everything just sort of worked its way out, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without the managers and people that I've met.
That was perfect.
Oh, yo, what the?
Who was your manager kid? Are you
I
watching?
didn't even lie. Yo, this Wish piece of shit. Okay, I'll stop cursing.
No, you're good. You're
Okay.
good. We curse like a
Holy
sailor.
shit.
Woo!
Oh my god, I'm
I
sweating.
guess the truth comes out.
so-
So
yeah,
what it
what-
would be instead of
What
Google.
happened at Google there,
I didn't
man?
lie.
If it's not Google.
Okay, if it wasn't Google, if it was okay, I don't know if I would work for any other FAANG company, but I would definitely want to work at a consulting firm.
Like the Big Four?
Probably the big three, but I didn't
three.
get interviews at any.
Is
of
it Big
them.
Three now?
Oh, the McKinsey, Bain, BCG.
Oh,
the
okay,
EY,
okay.
yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Accounting, that's right.
I've been out of the corporate game for a while
A
now
long
over
time,
here.
yeah. You're like, damn,
Hey,
they
you,
changed
back
it
in
up.
my day, it used to be the Big Four.
Who dropped out? Like, who got cut?
Yeah. We got canceled, right?
That's right.
All right, another question. Let's see. I give myself an A+ in work-life balance.
Zoom in over there. Zoom.
I think so because I like to think that I function best when I am productive.
Oh,
Baby. I swear, this is just
Speaking from the heart. Speaking from the heart right there.
exactly. Okay. All right. Maybe y'all have to talk about your
Elaine's
definition.
got this like
Elaine's like,
Suspect.
this guy needs to stop
Questionable.
working. Yeah.
Questionable.
Okay, thank God it's not my sweaty ass.
I
hands.
know, right? Another question is, I think my feet are my most attractive attributes.
Yo, not gonna lie, the engagement says otherwise. You know what I'm saying? I throw my foot in there. Hold on, let's see. Let's throw this baby in here. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, baby.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Oh, that's what I picked up on your social media content. I was like, I can't tell if this guy just loves feet himself, like he's a feet guy, or he's just like very proud of his feet.
Okay, so the story. So a lot of people think I put my feet on purpose, which now I do.
Right.
On my content. But before, I had my laptop on my lap and I was angling my phone downwards onto my screen. And so because of the angle at which my phone was getting at, my foot was in the frame.
Shot, yeah.
As the people were like, for free?
Yeah, I was going to ask for free.
Okay, for free? I was like, no, what are you people talking about? They're like, put them things away. I'm like, what? I'm showing Resume AI, my product. I'm like, oh, fuck,
All right.
goddamn toes.
Follow-up question is, have you thought about starting an OnlyFans for the feet?
Yo, listen, if anyone's out there, you want to see one of these babies, you want
$5.99 $5.99 every
month.
month.
See one of these? Say wave hi to you. Hey, DM me on Instagram. All right, I'll start something up for you. All right?
Oh, he's serious. Not
Feet AI.
I'm just saying, if I could, man, get these little babies to work for me.
dude. This might be the start of your new side hustle, your passive income.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying, DM me on Instagram. I'll make it happen, baby. All right.
Elaine, how do you feel about this?
No
No
comment. All right, last question. I guess we'll move on to the next section.
None of this
Last
shocking
one.
Shit.
I know, right? Which accomplishment are your parents more proud of? Forbes 30 under 30 or having worked at Google?
Google for sure. When I first quit,
Really?
Yeah, for sure. They were like, "Oh, Jerry, for sure. Yeah, I'm love to support you on your dreams. But when are you gonna get a real job?" You know, when I quit, I was like, "Oh, that's mean."
That's classic, though.
That's real,
That's
right?
So no lie, I still get that from my parents. So
Yeah.
like, hey, remember that recruiter that you talked to from Google like 4 years ago?
Right.
It's like, you ever hear back from him? I'm like, Mom, I don't think they even work there anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
What's
wow.
Forbes. There we go.
Well, honest for most of it, honestly.
Okay, but how does this even detect it? What is this?
I don't know, dude.
Time out. There's no instructions on here. It's just random.
It's like wish.com for sure. All right, cool. So we'll continue on to the next segment. It's called Tell Us Where You're Really From. And it's a chance for us to get to know you a little bit and kind of hear about your journey of where you got to today. If you feel so inclined, we'll edit out the deep, dark secrets. But otherwise... Yeah, no guarantees, no promises. Maybe if you take a shot, we'll do it for you. But we figured we'll kind of go down the list here. So your TikTok bio says, turning underdogs, arrow sign, winners. Mm-hmm. Can you share a little bit about your own underdog story?
Yeah, so, and there's the other part of our bio, which is like, click down below for free resources.
Yeah. Winners this way. This is how you get there.
Yeah, that's right.
Put an email address to continue.
So here's a bit.ly link.
Yeah.
No, I was kidding. So my family is from Korea. And, and we came to the States when I was a baby. And my family, so my dad at the time was working and my mom was a stay-at-home mom taking care of me and my older brother. And I remember when we came to the States, it was tough. Like typical immigrant family story.
What part of the States did they come to, by the way?
To LA.
LA.
Yeah,
Of
so I
course,
grew up in the
naturally.
LA area. Yep. And it was tough for them because financially we really struggled. Socially, mentally, and a lot. I remember waking up in the middle of the night often, and my parents talk about moving back to Korea.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad would always say, "No, we have to do this for John and Jerry," every time at night. And that's when, and I remember I would like wake up in the middle of the night. It's like 11 p.m. and I'd like put my ear against the door because I'd hear them like debating. I'm like, "No, we should do it. We should not." And then, so that memory always stuck with me. And somehow, some way, I made it through college, started working, and here I am today.
Here you are. Shit posting on Facebook, and here we are today.
That's right. Yeah.
When you started working at Google, did your dad ever be like, "See, I told you so"?
Yeah.
we did it.
Yeah.
No, surprisingly, my parents
It was like resolved like by then.
yeah, it was just sort of they were just like, I could just see the calmness in their faces. And a lot of the community sort of who I grew up with since elementary school, a lot of them didn't even go to college, and even if they did, a lot of them dropped out. And so my parents would always tell me like, oh man, like just make sure you just go to college and just graduate to get a degree. Like that is like your goal. That is your job, right? Nothing else matters. Despite all like the fire burning emoji of just like the house burning down, like them holding down the fort. So I consider myself very lucky to have such parents who had my priorities straight, never deviated from that, and really just made sure we were on the right path.
Damn. To me, I think that's very relatable. Maybe because I feel like I'm also Korean American, and I feel like I could picture the conversations that they're having as well. But I guess one thing that I've always thought about or wondered about is because like I got more or less the same pep talk, right? It's like, okay, you're number one. We're doing this because of you, for your opportunities. You got to go to the best school.
Number one.
Number one, right?
Was it like a guilt trip style? You know what I mean? Like how was the community?
They tried not to, but it always. Like after a while, it ends up being so. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But I remember thinking I got to college, and then I'm like, okay, cool, I got to college.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
So I guess I'm curious, like, where did you get your drive? Like, even because like one thing to get to college and get the degree.
That's
but
right.
Clearly, you have the fire and the drive to keep going.
It was honestly out of survivability, so that I could go out and like eat with my friends. I remember in college, one of the first things that I did with my two roommates, we went out to dinner, and the dinner turned out to be like $27 or something. Well, that's not like pasta, some like average place, whatever.
It's like that's like a lunch in New York.
Yeah, exactly, right? Honestly, garbage. The food was garbage. But I remember we had to pay $27. I was like, holy crap! For us, me growing up, for us, like going to like an Olive Garden was like this is what we would do for like our graduation and stuff, right? Or like book a
TGI Friday.
Exactly, like hometown buffet. I don't know. Have you guys heard of hometown buffet?
No.
Dude, man, maybe that was an LA thing, but that was like the classic American buffet, like $10 a person.
The blue collar, yeah.
Like that for us was like, bro, this shit was amazing. Mac and cheese, fried chicken. Anyways, what am I even saying?
$27.
That's right. That's right. So as soon as I realized that, I think I only had like $150 in my bank account. I'm like, all right, I need to do something about this. So that's when I started asking my friends, and we're like, oh, maybe you should start work study jobs. I'm like, cool. I got my first job, and shortly after, the more money I made, the quicker that my bank account decreased, because I was like, oh shit, I'm making money now. Like, I got $400. Let me treat myself. I go to Chipotle, get that guac on there. I don't care.
Give me that double meat.
Exactly, right? I don't care. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, no matter how much more I work, it seems like I'm not getting anywhere. So that's when I started looking externally, being like, okay, what can I find internships and stuff? And so throughout my next 3 years of college, I interned every single semester, working at least 20 hours a week.
Right.
So I got a similar story also. Like, I went to dinner with Josh Hahn, my old roommate, and it was like some like fancy sushi spot like downtown from
Josh.
And yo, dude, we went there, and we knew it was expensive.
You told me this stuff.
So we both ate first. We're like, okay, like we get the money, so like we eat first, and like before, and then we show up and like we'll play cool, oh no, we already ate, just ate, so like late lunch, and so we're not gonna eat. So we got there, we did the move, and we looked at the menu, and like apps were like $15, and I'm like, fuck, that was the plan. It was an app. We're gonna share an app.
Yeah.
So instead, we just got white rice. We got 2 bowls of white rice, and they're $3 each, and then we just split that. That was like our meal.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah,
There's a problem.
That's so real, man. Like I remember during freshman year, I don't even think my friends know this actually. So if they watch this, well, now you know. I remember a lot of them went to Puerto Rico, and they were like a freshman trip, like, oh, we should all go. And I'm like, oh yeah,
think freshman trip,
dude.
Wow.
I mean, from Boston. Well, actually, Babson is just a very unique community.
Okay.
Very unique people.
Please explain. Please elaborate. Having not been to Babson.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it just people are just built different there. They just have life experiences that I just didn't have until I was 25. It's all good. So they all were like, "Yo, let's go to Puerto Rico." I'm like, "Oh," and then they were like, "Oh, Jerry, you should come." I'm like, "Oh, how much are flights?" Like $300, $400.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, sorry, I'm busy that day. Like, oh, I got a meeting that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally relate to that because especially when you just don't have the funds, like you have to make that a priority. Otherwise, you just can't go out to eat with friends. You can't hang out as much as you'd like. And so, as much as I could, that's what kept my drive up.
I see.
Throughout my college career, because I wanted to share those experiences. So that's why I got my first off-campus internship during my sophomore year, and I was earning $20 an hour. I was like,
Good.
Yo, you were
Yeah,
getting,
pretty good,
you were
bro.
getting a $27 meal an hour.
That's right. So I was like, damn, I'm making money. So that's where for me, I was like, all right, how can I continue to get internships? How can I continue to do this so I can elevate myself financially?
So how did that? So talk to us about the transition from clearly you were, let's call it just out of survivorship, right? Just hustling and working your way to helping other people. Right? Because that's kind of basically the premise of Wonsulting. You're just basically helping other people, right?
That's
so
right.
How did that transition go about? And then when too?
Yeah. So during college, I pretty much interned every single semester. So what that would look like is on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I would wake up at 6, go into the office at 7, 8 a.m., work 8 hours, come back home 6, 7 p.m., and then start my work. The other 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll stack my classes from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. back to back.
Wow.
So I could just get all my classes done. And so it was a forcing function for me. And after about a year or two doing this, you kind of get used to it. Like,
yeah, that's true.
you know, like you wake up at 6 a.m., whatever, it's fine. And so that as a result has conditioned me to always be looking for jobs, because it was just very innate and something that I just always had in me. So even when I was at Google, I'd keep looking for jobs. And so it was only after a point that I was like, man, like, I feel like I've learned so much applying to over 1,000 jobs and remaking my resume like 50 times and getting it reviewed by recruiters. Every single professional event I went to, company info session, I go up to the recruiter. Hi, my name is Jerry. By the way, I had this resume. What do you think about it? Every single time.
Yeah.
And so after a while, you just sort of begin to notice some patterns, like what works, what doesn't work. And the more I began to learn, the more I began to realize that the people around me, they're like, shit, I just applied to this job at Deloitte and I just got it. Like I'm so lucky. Or, I remember like there was a person on my freshman year dorm. She got an internship at Goldman Sachs. I was like, damn, how?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you know, like my uncle, and there was like the managing director of like this. I was like, nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Good for you.
Yeah, but at my time, I didn't know how the world works. So I was
Right.
like, dude, if she can do it, why the can't I? You know? So like, right?
True.
So anyway, so all this, my situation was a forcing function for me to get jobs. That made me realize nobody else around me knows how to do this stuff. Let me just start posting on LinkedIn, and that's how it got started.
So then why LinkedIn? Because that was a professional network?
Yeah, I mean, that was...
But I feel like that was still like when LinkedIn was not cool.
That's right. This is around 2018,
Yeah.
2017-ish timeframe. Nobody was posting on LinkedIn. And if you were posting on LinkedIn, what you were like a white partner at a consulting firm trying to find other
You're
clients.
publishing your white papers and shit.
Exactly, yeah. So at the time, I think there were other 10, 20 content creators on the platform that were not like that. They were just sharing their journey. And so I got inspired. And one of those people actually was Jonathan, my co-founder. And so as he was posting, I was like, oh, shit, like I totally could do this. And then I learned from him. He taught me the ropes. And that's how I got started.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty okay. So that's pretty crazy. So you met your co-founder serendipitously, it sounds like then.
Yeah, on LinkedIn. It's funny enough because I remember he was posting a lot, doing a bunch of workshops in LA while he was there. And I was like, yo, dude, when you move up to the Bay Area, let's chat. And I remember he DM'd me first because I looked at his profile and he was like, yo, Jerry, I just saw that you looked at my profile. Would love to chat about how you got to Google. And I was,
The one hustler. That's amazing.
dude, John, man, the dude was an animal. Like what he would do is he post content on LinkedIn. Every single person who commented or liked it, he would literally message them, be like, hey, I'm Jonathan. Thanks for liking my comment. Like the dude was a hustler.
Yeah.
And a lot of the LinkedIn strategies that what we talk about a lot just came from him doing it for years. And so that's when people were like, yo, you can use LinkedIn to like network with people you don't know. John already had 17 different ways that he's done it. And it was crazy. Yeah. There's layers to this and he's figured it out.
So maybe this is a good segue into one of the things that I wanted to ask about, because I think one of the big things that you guys are big on is working smarter, not harder.
That's right.
So I guess, are there so many stories that stand out as to ways you guys found things are, the hard way of working, like basically methods that don't work the hard way versus like, efficient, hacks, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So are there any stories that stand out?
The biggest thing that I remember is prior to me doing all this stuff, I've gotten all my internships just mass applying. Like
Truly a numbers game.
Yeah, truly numbers game. It doesn't matter if I had 0.2% interview rate. Man, I'm applying to 3,000 jobs every 6 months. So like, I'm going to get 60 interviews,
Custom cover letter for all of them?
Nah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Insane.
I was about to say. Because
Yeah,
I was gonna
that's-
be like, what's your tip there?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who reads those anymore.
Yeah.
So that to me was the way I was brute forcing my way through it. Once I left and I started to begin to realize like, oh man, like this person got hired because they both worked together at Deloitte. When I was at Google, they both worked together at Deloitte, and like they were hiring someone on their team, and they're like, wait, how did that person but you guys also knew each other from 3 jobs ago. Wait. And so I began to start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Yeah, and that's the game. So what now I begin to realize is that networking is such a big part. I think HubSpot reported that 80% of jobs filled are done through some level of networking, which, maybe true, maybe not. But I think the principle is definitely there, that networking absolutely plays a big part. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't apply to jobs. You definitely should. But networking definitely is a lever that people need to pull more, even if you don't have a network.
Yeah, they post a job when they can't find someone in their network to fill it immediately. It's like,
Exactly.
That's what the job is for.
That's exactly right. And the analogy that I give to students when I used to do a lot of these workshops at schools is think about if you were doing a class project today. Who are the first people you're going to reach out to? Are you going to start accepting and try to overanalyze everyone who's in your class? Or are you going to think about the people who you've worked with the best and ask those people first? Most likely it's going to be the latter, right? It's the same exact thing.
It's true. Your A team versus the A team. Right?
That's right.
I feel like that's how we kind of like the philosophy we have at Lunar too, like about like like I call it service area, which is like this is the collective service area of all of us at Lunar, right? Like these are the people we know, these are our supporters, these are our fans, and like that's the collective service area where like let's say there's some dope opportunity for something, they're gonna think of let's think of Sean, or let's think of Kevin, like this could be perfect for them, like that. I think like I think that concept still applies, whether it's job hunting or whether it's building a business, like it's kind of the same.
That's so true. And what's so crazy to me, and maybe it's just me getting older, but I'm beginning to realize that there's so many parallels in the job search process to literally anything in life. Whether you want to,
I thought you were going to say dating, because my team can attest. I'm always like, like work life is kind of like dating,
Honestly, it really is.
It's like, it's like applying for a job is kind of like, swiping right on someone, right?
That's right. Yep.
And then if you match, that's the first interview, or maybe the phone screen, right? Right? Right, the phone screen, right?
Coffee is phone screen.
Right, it's like you just like, are they a bot or not? Right? It's like, okay, they're human. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's right.
They're normal. Okay, cool. And then you come on site for an in-person interview. That's like
right.
the first date.
That's right.
But then it's also like on the flip side, it's like you work at a job for a couple of years and you're like, you know what? I thought this was it, but my life priorities have changed, or I've learned something about myself since then. And like, I don't know if this is gonna work.
That's right.
And it's like a really uncomfortable conversation to have,
That's
right?
facts.
Kind of like breaking up with someone. So I always saying that. That's what I thought you were gonna say, because I'm always like, yeah, work life is kind of like dating.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting. It's so interesting because like even I like we develop these like principles and philosophies in like different areas of our lives, like dating, like job search or whatever, but rarely, it might be just me, but I never like intertwine them and think, what are the learnings that I had when I was on dating that I could apply to like this part of the business or this part of my life,
You did. We did say, the lie detector did say you're A+ at work-life balance. Like, look, you're good. So this is straight facts right here. That's right. Yeah. So I guess the last question that I want to ask before we move on to the final segment here is, if you're applying to thousands and tens of thousands, clearly you're spending a lot of time. And I think one of the things that Kevin and I have talked about in the past, and we talk about occasionally too, is this whole notion of work. I guess like hustle culture, or just notion of working to live versus living to work. Now, clearly it seems like, at least for your journey, out of necessity, you've had to work to live, but just generally for especially your clients and whatnot, I guess what's your take there?
I think it really depends on the person's situation, and I hate saying the word "it depends" because everyone says that. I hate it so much. But I think it ultimately just comes back to what role does work play in your life. And I think oftentimes we see that hustle culture is really looked down upon, or people being like, "Oh my God, you're spending too much time at work. Like, you must be crazy, or you're a workaholic, what have you." But for some people, they view work as an opportunity to just get a paycheck, have stability in their life so they can dedicate it to other things. There's another group of people who are just saying, you know what, work fills a very important part of my life. Intellectual curiosity, the feeling of building something, maybe something's very important to you, and maybe prioritizing that, hey, that's good for you. So I think definitely this is a spectrum. Most people try to, at least on media and what I read, anecdotally go so far on the spectrum being like, oh my God, work is not something you should ever spend more than 30, 40 hours into. And that might be the case for some people.
Okay, Tim Ferriss.
Yeah, right there, for sure.
Tim Ferriss, yeah. But so that's anecdotally what I've seen.
Yeah.
You just have to analyze what's right for your situation.
I think, but I mean, yeah, it is a little bit of a cop-out answer, but like I totally agree though. It does depend, because like I think a lot of people who were like, oh, I regret like grinding my life or my 20s away type of thing, is I think it's because they didn't quite know, or they thought they knew what they wanted in their life, right? And again, just like the dating analogy, what you want in life might change.
I thought I wanted ABGs, but it wasn't
Right.
ABGs.
Exactly. I thought I wanted no kids and just like 5 dogs, but like now I want kids, right? Like, you know, you evolve and you grow as a human being. So I think that makes, I subscribe to that thought a lot, right? Ultimately comes down to, do you know what you want?
That's right.
And if it's okay that it changes too.
That's exactly right.
So what's the ABG equivalent of a job, of an employer?
Working at a f***ing Google.
Yeah,
Jesus
100%.
Christ, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, definitely.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you think you're there, you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I made it. For 6 months, you definitely feel that way.
Yeah.
After 6 months, you feel like, is that really it? Like, I've like reached the like mecca of like what a corporate job is, but then you're kind of like looking over the edge being like, wait, really? Absolutely. I'm not, hey, if you're in an ABG, listen, hey, live your life, girls. You know
That's
what I mean?
right. Live your best life.
Live your best life. That's right.
right.
I'll see you at Coachella.
That's this weekend.
Yeah, Jerry, you're flying out tonight. I heard.
That, I think, is a great place to transition into the next one, the next segment, rather. And it's
I'm
one
drunk, dude.
good. That's the point. That's the point. So maybe this is a perfect segue, because the last segment is called "Tell Us Something We Don't Know," right? And the way it works is we got this little container.
Jesus Christ.
You know it. Nothing too crazy. Obviously,
We gotta drink first, I think.
We got a couple of always drink.
Cheers. Okay. Cheers.
Well, the alcohol's starting to hit a little bit.
Yeah.
So in this basket, we have a couple of questions for you to pick from.
Damn, this is whole 4.
You know it. And for you to pick, and we just kind of give us your thoughts and answer the question and what have you.
Do we start?
Go for it.
Hit it.
All right, baby.
Read the question for us.
You seem to have a big extroverted E energy. Tips for the shy and introverted folks out there, especially for networking.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Drink a lot of Lunar and
Drink more Lunar.
I actually have a really funny story on this.
Yeah?
So one of my buddies, I won't say his name, the guy really wants to get into investment banking, right? This guy was a hardcore networker, hard worker, smart dude. But he has a hard external shell. So he probably got over 80 investment banking interviews in a span of 3 months during his senior year.
pretty good.
That's really
Dude,
good.
it was
I didn't
crazy.
even know there were that many investment banks.
Like mid-market, bulge bracket, like
Wow.
small. This dude was an animal. He'd fly out every single weekend, sometimes multiple times in a week, to do final rounds. But the biggest thing was that, like, he just took a lot to warm up to. Like, he would just be very like, hey, my name is, nice to meet you, you know? And so one of the things that we joked about, but we were kind of serious, was like, dude, you should, like, because when he's drunk, he gets very extroverted, very personable. Like, dude, maybe you should just take like a bunch of shots right before an interview and like chew gum. And he actually did it. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't do it.
I think it's like,
Yeah.
and he landed the job.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
Yeah, he ended up finding a job, but yeah, he didn't need to do that. But that reminded me of it. Anyways, Anyways,
I thought the other one was gonna be just kidding. He didn't do it, but he just barfed all over the interview table and he bombed it. Yeah.
Tips for the shy, introverted folks out there. Yeah, I think, especially for people who are more shy and introverted, I think the most important thing to think about is just be very intentional about reach outs. For me as an extrovert, I would reach out to anyone and everyone, whoever had a beating heart. Bam, yeah, I bet I'm in your LinkedIn DMs. I swear.
That's how you swipe on Tinder.
Yeah. You have a beat, I'm there, baby.
That's
right? I think for people who are introverted, generally what I feel like is they're much more intentional about who they reach out to, how they structure their message. They definitely go for more of the quality than the quantity.
Yeah.
So I think, especially for introverts, it's important that you recognize the people that you want to reach out to that will give you energy rather than take away from it. So it's being highly intentional. And I don't think there's a right way, one way or the other, but it's just being much more tactical with who you reach out to rather than my method of just like spreading my seeds.
Spray and pray.
Spray and pray. That's literally what we used to call it. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that makes sense, a lot of sense to me because I consider myself an ambivert, and I was probably much more introverted in my earlier years.
Really?
And I think I think that was the part that always tripped me up because like you want me to come up to this organization who I give zero about and act like I care when I don't care.
Man, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's 100% true. You know, one of the interesting networking hacks that I recommend to people, especially if you're in like an in-person environment,
do coke with them.
Yeah, maybe this Lunar after hours, you know. But it's always to go into like a career fair, and there's always going to be like 2 or 3 people where they have a big group of people just talking to them, and there's always going to be 2 people off to the side. Right? You want to spend your time talking to just 2 people on the side, and don't start networking. Don't be like, oh, you know, what's your job? Right? You can be like, man, like, isn't this networking event crazy draining? They're like, yeah. Because what you want to do is use those people to get introduced to the people that everyone else wants to talk to.
I remember like my like investment banking final round, like they would fly everyone out. You're like doing like a fucking like happy hour thing where you're like, like even though it's not an interview, like they're like absolutely evaluating there.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Like, and so it's like just a bunch of people who are like all like thirsting to get IB jobs.
Yeah.
And you know, oh, there's the MD over there. So there's this huge crowd of people, and they're always like, so how's the deal teams? They lean or like, it's like all the stupidest questions like everyone's gonna ask, and they're like. Yeah, and that's when I realized, like, you know, like, yes, like there's like this like list of like questions that you should ask. And, like, don't like, how's the culture? How's the work-life balance? No, don't ask those questions. Like, they're not going to remember you. How do I stand out? How do I have a quality interaction where they're like, oh yeah, Kevin, like, and I talked about X, and that was actually pretty awesome. Like, I had a great connection with him. Like, all you need is one.
Yep.
And then you can have parlay that one into an introduction and then you get there. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, that unlocked a lot for me. I was like, oh shit, like I can't just like.
That's so facts though, because. One of the things that someone told me about networking is that it's not about no one's ever going to remember what you say, but they'll remember how you made them feel.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you go to a networking event and you're talking to people, you don't want to talk about, oh, so, you know, I've read Accenture in the news and they've, you know, acquired, you know, XYZ.
How's the stock price doing?
Yeah, nah, that, right? I remember the thing I would always used to do at career fairs is these recruiters would just talk to so many people, and I'd walk up to them and be like, damn, you must be tired, huh?
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck. Yeah. Like, because you want to take these people out of their professional shoes and make them step into their human shoes.
100%.
The more that you could do that,
1,000%.
man, like that's so one of the things I do now for Zoom like calls with partners, investors, whomever, right? This is a hack for anyone watching. I'll always comment on their background. Because that's something that you can universally do. You'll be like, whoa, is that a painting over there?
Yeah.
Did you paint that of your dog? You have a dog? I love dogs.
Yeah.
Right? I love doing that because
you love underdogs.
The best kind of dogs.
Right?
Sorry.
I love that. No, but like that reminds me of like one of the biggest advices that I got from one of my old bosses too, and my team can attest to me saying this all the time too. But it's like if you treat everyone just like an individual first before their position, just makes things a lot easier and also just more effective, right?
For sure.
That's how, as Kevin knows, I can curry a lot of favor with a lot of the suppliers that we work with.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, you know, how about them Bengals, man? Like
Bengals.
Joe Burrow gonna re-sign or what, right? Just talk about that silly shit first, and it kind of like disarms them a little bit. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I think they then in turn treat you a little bit more like a human because I'm like, listen, bro, this is my dream. Like I started this because I wanted to do this. It'd be a really big help if you can do X, Y, Z. And if they're on the fence about it, like that might tip them over the fence
for sure. And so, then
100%.
This reminds me of like the networking hacks or like the interview hacks that we would like. You could definitely prepare like go on Glassdoor, read about the company, whatever. The like 16 layers deep is you can go onto their Facebook, go onto their Instagram, see what they're interested in, and in the first 3 minutes of the interview, what the first question they ask you is, "How are you?" Right? And 99% of people say, "Good. How are you?" "Good. Now let's start." Right? Yeah. Nah. What you want to do is if you see like Star Wars on there, for example, you go, I'm doing really good. I actually watched Mandalorian last night, and I loved it. Yeah. They're gonna go, "You like Star Wars too?"
Yeah.
Oh, how
let's talk.
Whoa, what a coincidence, right? Man, I remember I used to do this to all my interviews who I could find on Facebook and stuff. There's one small thing. Oh, you went? Yeah, I went rafting this past weekend. I didn't do. Come on, I was sitting in my room. I was stalking your goddamn Instagram. You know what I mean?
Guilty. Fucking guilty all the time.
For real though, I think a lot of people. I thought about this a lot because I don't follow sports at all. But like,
me neither.
That's like a hack
for sure.
I'm just like, oh fuck, like, do I need to like kind of know about sports a little bit? Like, how do I like know just enough for this weekend so that I can start a conversation but not finish it, not see it all the way through, and be able to pivot it out of the conversation.
But it doesn't matter because all they know is like, oh, Kevin, he started he follows sports, like, oh, he's a cool guy.
Kevin loves the Tampa whatever's. How about that game though?
Tampa Lake, Seattle Sounders.
That's right. Yeah.
No, I think I was telling Kevin too. Like, I usually am a big sports fan, and I usually follow college basketball a lot too. But this year, I haven't followed the season at all. Even though UVA, our alma mater, go Who's, was doing well. I was like, I don't care. Like, I can't do this. Like, I got other to do. But then I was like, no, wait, this is gonna come in handy. Literally the night before, after the first round, I was like, let me fill out a bracket. Fuck, like pick. You know what I mean? Just to have something to talk about. Like, oh, like so when the conversation comes up, it's like, how are you doing? It's like, I was good until my bracket got busted. Like,
you gotta speak
and then be like, I know, just shit like that.
Yeah. And I remember, like,
and I didn't even watch the games. I was just like, oh, okay,
yeah. And so, especially in our industry, right? Like, we talk about careers a lot, yada yada yada. And so, when I meet people, I'll be like, oh, like before we dive into it, I just want to get to know you. Like, who are you? How are you sitting here today? And there's sort of blanket questions or like statements that I could say that'll be relevant no matter what they say. I'll be like, damn, sounds like you had a crazy career. Everyone goes, tell me about it. Like, God damn, you don't even know. Tell me more. Spend the first 15 minutes talking about their career, and I just insert these blanket statements. Wow. Wait, so how did you manage that?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what they
that's
say.
crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yo, that's wild.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, it's these blanket statements that you can use everywhere.
100%. All right, so I think the takeaway, I guess, for the introverts is don't be afraid. Or find the ones that you care about. Quality.
Intentional.
Yeah, be intentional, but also don't be afraid to, talk about the stuff that clearly the other people talk about, right? Or that's interesting to them.
Take your shots and shoot your shots.
Yeah.
That's right.
The worst thing that happens is status quo.
Yeah. They say no, and then you wasted 30 seconds of your life. You move on. Yeah.
So how did you manage that? I'm just kidding.
That's crazy.
All right, next question.
How do you separate personal brand versus company brand? Still grow both at the same time, man. That's
and this is a personal agenda here too because I'm super curious because this is something that at least I'm working on as well.
So we made a very intentional decision to keep our personal brands interwoven with our company brand, and I remember before we were about to get started with Instagram and TikTok, we had spoken to a friend who had gone through this process, built up a personal brand, then split it and make it only about their company, and they regretted that decision. So that's one of the things we realized, and thankfully that turned out to be okay for us because I think especially being deeper into this whole creator realm and stuff, people just want to follow people. Yeah. Right. People want to follow stories and they want to be able to relate to you in some certain sense. So And it's very hard for a company to do that. But I know, for example, companies like Duolingo do that really well, or Ryanair will do that really well. Minecraft just recently joined TikTok, and they have like 1 million followers in like 5 days, I think. So I think at the core essence of personal brand and company brand, if you don't want to be the traditional company, then you absolutely want to take on the persona of your brand and let that carry you through.
And just be an extension of it, basically.
Be an extension of it, for sure.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But we've definitely thought about this a lot. And
So the feed pics are going on to the main account is basically the
feed pic. Yeah.
There's no other account. It's just the account.
That's right.
Okay. Understood.
Exactly.
Look, revenue is revenue, okay?
Follow along to find out more.
How do you feel looking back on all your achievements, and what do you hope to accomplish next?
Yeah.
You know, this question hits deep for me because
Go back to Google for mom. Mom and dad.
it's weird because I don't look at what we've done and go, damn, like we are fucking badasses. Like we have figured it out. Like I look at this and go, all right, we made a lot of progress, but that just means we have to do so much more. And so it might be like an Asian way of thinking. And my therapist would probably say it's probably my survivalist mindset that I still haven't graduated from. But I honestly don't think of us as like having done it yet. You know,
You haven't made it yet.
Exactly. We're like on the progress. We've done a lot, but there's so much more that we want to accomplish and do that there's just no time to just like look back and just be like, all right, like we're content.
I feel that because like people ask me all the time and like, oh my God, like Lunar's doing so well. It's growing so much. You guys are at Costco, you're at Whole Foods, whatever. Yeah. And then be like, you know, like you're doing great. And I'm like, huh? Are we? Oh, okay. You know, like
you'll say, yeah, for sure. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. But internally,
you're like, fuck, like, you know, like I feel like we could do so much more. And like, I'm not settled. You know, I'm not ready yet. But it's like also like I feel like it's also kind of not healthy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like I feel like being like an athlete. There's only one gold medal on the podium. Right?
That's right, yeah.
Not everybody can win the gold medal.
And there was a study done on Olympians post-Olympics. There's some crazy high percentage of them who actually get depressed after the Olympics.
Yeah. And I think there's also another study how there's greater satisfaction with bronze medal than there is with silver medal, right? Because when you're silver medal, you're like, it was just this close.
Yeah.
But when you're bronze, you're like, you know, you're like,
I'm happy to be up here.
Yeah, exactly. Better here than down there, you know what I mean? Right. So, I don't know. I feel like that's something that I personally struggle with in terms of balancing. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I feel like it is very, I think it comes from us, also from our Asian backgrounds too. Like the Asian culture, I don't
Number
think
one.
Like the Asian culture just isn't much. It's not, it doesn't celebrate enough. It's not like, oh my God,
you celebrate
great job
on your deathbed. Here are all these things that here lies Jerry. All these things he accomplished. Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely not healthy, but one of the forcing functions that John and I do, my co-founder, is we'll do like monthly review just between the two of us. Yeah. We'll get feedback about each of us, and we'll also like make sure we leave time to just like hype each other up, being like, these are the facts of what we have accomplished.
It's
we
true.
Feel good about it.
Yeah, gas each other up.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think like even though it's it's probably unhealthy. I think for people who are really blazing your own trail, like I think unfortunately that level of insanity is you kind of need it.
I agree with
that.
I
think you kind of need it, unfortunately. Like and it sucks, but like not the road is not paved for us to just walk down and stroll down. Like it's like there's rocks and there's trees and there's like crap in the road. Like you got to just go do it. Like I'm sorry, and so like I think that's the balance that's like hard to figure out. But like I think at the end of the day, no one's gonna pay that for you. Like you kind of have to do it, and it sucks. But you
got to do it.
You got to do it.
That's one of the things I talk to my therapist a lot around. Like, how do I make sure I give myself self-love, but also I don't settle.
Right.
Like, what is that balance, and how do you make sure you're not just being like...
It's like Mamba mentality over here. dominate everything. Dominate.
Yeah. But it's so true. Like, how do you make sure that you're like, oh, I'm not going to post content for 2 days, even though I've been posting every day for the past 3 years. Right. I'm going to give myself a 2-day break. And how do you then know that it's not going to then snowball into being like, I can just do 5 days a week.
Yo, that's why I moved to New York.
Wait, what?
Because knowing myself, I was like, if I just go back to like my parents' house after graduating or whatever, or like growing up in DC, I was like, I'm just gonna be like a lazy ass motherfucker.
Oh yeah, no,
You know what
for
I mean?
sure. Yeah.
But then I like come interview and like stay at this guy's place and like just get the feel of the energy. I'm like
Yeah.
of the city, and I'm like, okay, there's no way like I would just feel pressured to like do something with my life. That's the only reason why I'm here, honestly. And Kevin knows this too. I'm like,
Not the good food? Come on, man.
I mean, the good
Shame
food
on
is
you.
a nice benefit. But here's the thing: like, I'm fucking like, I'm the type where I'm like, if I'm just kind of in the zone, I'll eat the same shit all the time.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like I don't even eat all the good food anyway.
It's very, very
You know?
true.
Yeah.
I'll go to the same Thai restaurant and
John's
then
girlfriend's always pinging me for Rex.
yeah, because like
God
I
damn
don't
it.
fucking know where to go.
Yeah, dude, I will go to the same bodega every day.
That's
get
what I'm
a
like same
sausage-
order, right?
Yeah, and to me, I'm just like, all right, I just need to get sustenance. I just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to feel hungry. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
eat. Boom.
I feel like it's
done.
my equivalent of the what is it? The Steve Jobs wearing the same outfit every day.
Oh yeah,
nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I feel that hard.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's a good place to wrap up because I know, because I think we covered a lot and whatnot, but also you got to go. Speaking of sustenance, you got to go get your sustenance and catch your play.
That's right, we do.
So I guess we'll start wrapping up here, and the ultimate verdict, I guess, is for me and Kevin to say: is creating your own luck a phase or not? All right.
No. Hell no, dude. We create our own luck every fucking day.
That's right.
Especially, I think, as children of immigrants too. You know what I mean?
Sure. I agree.
We have an uphill battle here.
So
So
I have Daddy's trust fund.
yeah.
That's right.
So either way, Jerry, thank you so much for coming,
Of course.
especially on a packed schedule like today. What and how can our viewers best find you?
You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or TikTok, Jerry J.H. Lee, or you can go onto our website, Wonsulting.com. Everything's on there. Hope to see you there.
Check out the latest product, Resume AI.
That's right. That's what it
Is
is.
it
it right?
resume
Resume
AI or is it
AI?
resume?
Dude, how do you?
Or is it resume I?
How do you pronounce it?
Okay. Because I was having that debate in my mind. I was like, how am I supposed to
I
say
was
this? Yeah.
Resume.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Okay, cool. And obviously for this episode, you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. You can also find Lunar at drinklunar.com or on Instagram at drinklunar2. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, comment. I don't know, stitch with your own feet pics or something. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Bye, y'all.
Later.